Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to talk about how the Fed is going to force the market to crash and how Jerome Powell has been lying to us over the last 6 months. So stay tuned and let's make some money. And now I want to dive straight in with the key information. So, as unusual was tweeted, Jerome Powell has said that whether we can execute a soft landing of the economy or not may actually depend on factors that we don't control. Obviously, if we rewind about 6 months ago, Jerome Powell was saying that inflation was transitory and that we had absolutely nothing to worry about. Not but a few weeks ago, Jerome Powell changed his tune and said that inflation wasn't transitory, but we should be able to execute a soft landing fairly easily and the economy should be absolutely fine. But obviously right now, Jerome Powell has again changed his tune and said that whether they can execute a soft landing or not may actually depend on factors outside of their control. AKA, Jerome Powell has basically said the Fed is absolutely helpless and can't do anything to try and save the current economy. Basically saying whether the economy will have a soft landing or not, aka whether the market will crash, is entirely outside of his control and entirely outside of the Fed's control. Basically saying what will be, will be. He also said the process of getting inflation down to the Fed's 2% target will include some pain. And therefore, Jerome Powell has said the economy will feel more pain before the current US inflation rate is pulled down to this 2% target. Now, obviously, this is exactly what I've been saying over the last 6 months, and it's nice that Jerome Powell has now confirmed my original suspicions and is basically agreeing the market will crash. And this article from Bloomberg says if stocks don't fall, the Fed needs to force them and effectively cause a recession. Bloomberg says tightening financial conditions will be key to getting inflation under control. It says it's hard to know how much the US Fed will need to do to get inflation under control, but one thing is certain. To be effective, it'll have to inflict more losses on stocks and bond investors than it has done so far. The S&P 500 is down nearly 20%, the Nasdaq is down over 30%, and so far inflation has only fallen from 8.5% to 8.3%, and therefore has much, much further left to fall. They've said market participants' hands are already spinning from the rapid change in the outlook for the Fed's interest rate policy. As recently as a year ago, they expected no rate increases in 2022. Now they foresee the federal funds rate to reach about 2.5% by the end of this year. But worryingly, as Howie pointed out, Jerome Powell waited for his job to be confirmed before issuing a statement just like this. It says here, by law, the president nominates a Fed chair and 2 vice chairs for 4-year terms. They must be confirmed by the Senate for those positions in a vote distinct from their confirmation as members of the Fed Board of Governors. It says Jerome Powell was confirmed for a second 4-year term as chair on May 12, 2022. Obviously, May 12th, 2022 was yesterday, and therefore Jerome Powell has just been confirmed for another 4-year term. And therefore, whatever he says now doesn't really matter because he's already secured this second 4-year term. Obviously, if Jerome Powell had made these statements a few weeks ago, saying that a soft landing was out of his control and pushing the inflation rate down will cause more pain, it could have ended up with him not being confirmed for another 4-year term. And that's why until now he's been so vague with what he's been saying and keeps doubling back on everything that he says and basically changing his mind. And crazily enough, so far more than $7 trillion has been wiped out from the stock market this year so far. Also guys, be sure to get your 5 free shares worth up to $17,500 with Moomoo using the link in the description below. Moomoo's got tons of technical indicators, it's really customizable and it will help you to trade like a pro. CNN have said somebody cue the stock market's park rangers because bears are having a picnic on Wall Street this year. The meltdown of 2022 has wiped out more than $7 trillion in market value from the blue chip stocks in the S&P 500. The index is down nearly 18% since the end of December, and the S&P 500 is now barely above bear market levels. But on top of this, obviously, it says the rapid plunge is also raising alarm bells on Main Street as well, with worries the US economy may be losing steam following a strong recovery from the depths of the brief pandemic-induced recession. CNN have also said that there are hopes that a bottom may soon be in sight, although I would be very careful with that statement. Just because something has fallen by a large portion or a large percentage doesn't mean that it can't fall further. Bespoke analysts have said that prices can remain oversold. for an extended period of time, and they can continue being oversold longer than you think they will. But they did say they won't stay that way forever. Just because a stock has fallen 70, 80, or even 90% doesn't mean that it can't fall more and fall another 10, 20, or 30% on top of that. Mac 10 believes the recent crypto losses could cause the stock market and the economy to fall even further. Mac 10 tweeted saying crypto losses from the peak now equal $1.7 trillion. The 2007 subprime mortgage market was $1.3 trillion before it imploded. He said it's highly likely that crypto will be the catalyst for an accelerated global collapse. We can see here over the last few weeks, and especially over the last few days, crypto has really struggled. Obviously, I showed you that screenshot yesterday morning showing that most cryptos are down 10, 20, 30% or more, with obviously Luna down 99% on the day. The last few days alone has wiped out nearly $600 billion from the current crypto market cap. And I personally think that crypto still has further to fall, especially now that Coinbase has started to delay withdrawals, for security precautions, of course. Stacy tweeted saying, I tried moving Bitcoin from Coinbase to a self-custody wallet yesterday, and I got this. Coinbase, as a security precaution, had delayed the transaction until May the 14th. I think after the whole Terra fiasco, Coinbase are probably having many users withdrawing cash from their platform. On top of this, Coinbase also disclosed in their recent financial statements that if Coinbase ended up going bankrupt, then users' crypto would be part of the bankruptcy proceedings. aka meaning that users and customers may not get their money back and they may be an unsecured creditor, which is fairly low in the pecking order during a bankruptcy proceeding. I think this is causing tons and tons of the Coinbase customers to move exchanges to say BlockFi, for example, or moving to tangible ledgers. Therefore, Coinbase is obviously having to file tons and tons of withdrawals and obviously pay out all of this Bitcoin, which they're obviously struggling with and experiencing liquidity issues. I think Coinbase have to be really careful because otherwise there could end up being a run on Coinbase if too many customers withdraw their crypto. Obviously, if Coinbase are experiencing liquidity issues, they will have to delay transactions. But again, that will just spook customers even more and cause even more customers to withdraw from the platform. I think Coinbase needs to be really careful, otherwise they could end up in a death spiral if too many customers withdraw their crypto. That will cause the price of Bitcoin to fall further, obviously as people are selling, and cause the market cap of crypto to fall further still. And finally, I wanted to touch on this tweet from Lightning Warrior. Lightning Warrior is a fellow YouTuber making GameStop related videos. And therefore I wouldn't really expect any unusual FUD or rubbish tweets that were entirely made up, because he has no real reason to destroy his entire reputation over one singular tweet. And that leads me to believe that this tweet is actually real, not just a he said, she said, trust me bro tweet. But he tweeted saying no rubbish, but I went to Fidelity to DRS more GameStop shares and they won't do it. They told me we simply can't do that at this time, and then the agent ghosted him, and that happened twice. So Lightning Warrior is literally trying to talk to Fidelity customer support to DRS more of his GameStop shares, and the agents at Fidelity are literally ghosting him and ignoring his messages. I think this just goes to show that Fidelity and many other trading platforms are struggling to locate any shares of GameStop, because I imagine the GameStop float has basically been entirely DRS'd by this point. I imagine, similarly to AMC, the GameStop float has likely been sold many times over, and now the majority of shareholders for GameStop have also been DRSing their shares and basically locked up the entire float. But yeah, as you can imagine, even though the entire float of GameStop is locked up and has been DRS'd, there's still somehow millions and millions of shares that are traded every single day. Which is obviously a result of market makers like Citadel just creating additional shares out of thin air just to trade back and forth to try and crush the price of AMC and GameStop. So guys, be sure to leave a comment down below and ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers!